Good morning, it's 9 a.m. Welcome to the Marshall County Board of Supervisors, our regular session here Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023, here in the courthouse first floor. Notice to the public, the Board of Supervisors welcomes comments from the public during the time allowed for discussion. You're requested to approach the podium and use the microphone. State your name, address, and for the record, limit your time used to present your remarks in order that others may be given an opportunity to speak. The normal process on any agenda item is for the chair to read the item from the agenda. The board is given an opportunity to comment on the issue and or place a motion on the floor. An opportunity for discussion may be presented, at which time the public may participate, and a roll call vote will follow. Our roll call today, please.
Heil.
Here.
Slosik absent. Hibbs.
Here.
Awesome. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, do we have a motion to approve the agenda today?
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda.
I'll second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Heil.
Yes.
Slosik absent. Hibbs.
Yes.
All right, consent agenda. Approve regular session minutes, July 19, 2023. Approve claims as audited. And authorize the auditor recorder to issue the payment of the same. Listen to the claims paid at this meeting, and all claims will be paid in the current month will be published as part of the first meeting of the following month. 5C. File Clerk of District Court report dated June 2023. 5D. File Auditor Recorder's quarterly report April through June 2023. Total of $64,601.85. 5E. File Manure Management Plan Blue Valley Pork MMP short form signed with changes. AB Facilities MMP short form signed with changes. 5F. Personnel changes. Planning and Zoning and Weed Commissioner, approved new hire, Planning and Zoning and Weed Commissioner Tavius Stevens, annual salary $70,000 on or after August 7th, 2023. And that is the end of the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as presented.
And I will second that. Discussion, I did speak with Tavius today to clarify that we're ready to rock and roll, and he is, so we're all set with that, and we're excited to get that replacement completed at Planning and Zoning. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Heil.
Yes.
Slosik absent. Hibbs.
Yes.
Motion carries. Number 6, MyTech Alliant Energy Project, number 4312655. This here is basically Alliant Energy is going to do some underground work with the overhead electric, so this is the easement to allow them to do that. I spoke with Lucas on it. We didn't have any particular issues. It could just be a pad that has it's issues of navigating snow removal, and but that's not an issue for us at all, and it'll be nice to have electric underground that if we do ever have any issues with storms. Electric's underground, so that's a good thing.
That'll never happen.
All right, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion that we approve MyTech Alliant Energy Project 4312655 for a necessary easement area at 103 East Church Street in Marshalltown as presented.
And I will second that. Motion is second. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Heil.
Yes.
Slosik absent. Hibbs.
Yes.
All right, number 7, approve ARPA funding request for the Sheriff's Office prisoner transport van. Let's see, so what are our remaining funds in ARPA? Do you know off the top of your head?
I do not. This was slightly over the budget, but this is part of the budget already that you committed during budget time. So this vehicle was committed. It is a little bit more expensive than what we originally said. Let me pull that up and get the...
And that's what the need for ARPA fund is for? Or was the ARPA funds did we commit the ARPA funds at budget time?
At
for
budget
this?
time for
Okay.
this vehicle, but it's a little bit more expensive, but it still is part of our, what's included in our ARPA spending.
Joel, do you have anything you want to say about that?
And then maybe I'll find the spreadsheet by the time you're,
Yeah, Joel Phillips, Sheriff, Marshall County. Part of the increase in the ARPA funding was from the prisoner to have this insert. Before I had a quote for $25,000 for this insert. It's gone up, I believe, a little over $33,000. So that's where the increase has come. I was able to work with Stivers Ford on the vehicle quote for the van, and a little under $2,000 under state bid for the quote that they gave. So there was some benefit to that. There is some. We're still working out with our video recording system. Motorola has purchased WatchGuard, which is our current system within our fleet and our body cameras. They are no longer, they're kind of supporting that, but there won't be any products available. So we're trying to make the right decision, the most cost-effective decision to which company to go to. Do we continue? They will support some of the products for a little bit longer. But when you have two different video recording systems, and it's about a $500,000 project in the end if we do a complete switch over. This has taken several years of grant funding to get our body worn cameras and our video, our mobile video camera system within our squad cars. So to come up with that much funding in a couple years is going to be a little difficult. So we're trying to come up with some different ideas and make some decisions in our vehicle fleet when these upfitting opportunities come up. So.
Thank you.
well, right now, we've got uncommitted $438,741.17. And a little bit of that'll be eaten up by the $9,000 overage of the, it's like everything else, probably everything's going up. And when we got the, that was back in February, and things change in 6
Yep.
months, unfortunately. So, but the remainder of that is already in our
already accounted
list.
for, yeah.
Yeah, so, that 438,741.
We'll just go down by the difference.
It'll go down, yeah, to probably, 430-ish,
Okay,
so, that we still have available for things.
okay. Okay,
Great. Do we have a motion to approve the funding request for this vehicle?
I'll make a motion that we approve the ARPA funding request for the purchase of the 2023 Ford Transit E350 replacement prisoner transport van with prisoner insert for a total of $88,866.45.
All right, we have a motion. I'll second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Kyle.
Yes.
Solosik absent. Hibbs.
Yes.
Motion approves. On to number 8, approved purchase for the Marshall County Engineer Department of a new 2022 Ford F-250 XLT crew cab pickup from Jensen Ford Lincoln of Marshalltown. And that we have our following item is another F-350 XL Super Cab pickup. So both of these for the Engineers Department. Mark, was there anything to add on that, or?
No, these are just to replace some of the pickups that are basically wore out.
All right, we have a replacement of the fleet, and do we have any further discussion on these items?
Can we do one motion?
We'll do,
Two motions?
we'll have to do 2 separate ones as they're listed separately.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase for the Marshall County Engineer Department of the new 2022 Ford F-250 XLT crew cab from Jensen Ford at a price of $62,405.
All right, we have the motion. I'll second that. Do we have any further discussion? Just like to add that it's nice to see us purchasing from a local dealership here at Jensen Ford here in Marshalltown. So that's always a good thing to see when there's the options available. So,
So just to clarify, they're new 2022s.
Correct.
Okay.
all right. Roll call vote, please.
Kyle.
Yes.
Solosik absent. Hibbs.
Yes.
And then number 9 is approving the purchase of Marshall County Engineer Department of a new 2022 Ford F-350 XL Super Cab pickup from Jensen Ford Lincoln of Marshalltown for a total of $56,915. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase of the new 2022 Ford F-350 XL Super Cab pickup from Jensen Ford of Marshalltown for a price of $56,915.
All right, we have a motion. I will second that. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Kyle,
Yes.
Solosik absent, Hibbs,
Yes.
All right, number 10, discussion and possible action on purchase of vehicle for planning and zoning and weed commissioner. This was a discussion that Steve wanted us to talk about here at the meeting from his discussions with Tavius of the possible need for a vehicle for that department. I talked with Tavius this morning. He said that the possibility of him utilizing his personal vehicle like Todd had previously done and mileage being paid would be something he'd be okay with as well. I do know that there is a pickup truck from Secondary Roads that could be available in 3 to 4 weeks if we need it. So I think once Tavius gets started, we can hammer out all the details on that, but it's just good to know that there's a potential vehicle within our organization ready to
Existing,
use.
Yeah. Yeah, so no action here.
I don't think so.
Right, and it'd probably be good too for him to pick out the vehicle after he identifies the need a little bit too, to see what he,
Yep.
to see what he wants.
Yep. Sounds good. No action on that. Any other discussion at all? All right, number 11, Resolution 2023-40, authorization of current debt from Marshall County ARPA Fund to Marshall County Capital Projects Fund, 2023-40. And this is just so that we can do the shift in our funds to allow us to pay for courthouse projects that we were expecting in the previous fiscal year, but it's moved into this fiscal year. Bottom line is, everything's remaining the same in our budget. This is just a shift allowing us to shift the funds to cover our bills.
Yes, and this is actually for the cash side of it. Actually, on Friday, I spoke with our insurance carrier, and there's a check en route. So we may not have to do this, but we'll have it done, and if we don't need to make the transfer, we won't. But we'll have it available if we need to.
Excellent.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution 2023-0040, authorization of current debt from Marshall County ARPA Fund to Marshall County Capital Projects Fund 2023-0040 in the amount of $2,300,000.
There's a motion. I will second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Kyle,
Yes.
Solosik absent, Hibbs,
Yes.
Motion carries. Number 12, Resolution 2023-41, establish an appropriate speed limit sign erected at Eastman Avenue North, 1,000 feet in Section 3, T83, R20, State Center Township.
That's a little
Okay.
creepy.
Paul, I understand you're online. Is there anything you'd like to report on this, please?
No sound, Paul.
Paul, we're working on getting your audio up. We don't have it yet. Thank
You
you.
got these maps for me too,
Thank you.
where the intersection is right here. Then you must place the speed limit to the north.
Yep.
North side of State Center, St. Paul Church. Oh, yeah. So cemetery is out here. That's where they killed the animals for the locker. So you put that with the, okay. Yeah. You know, just little tidbits. Good job.
Well,
Not sure why we're not getting it.
you continue to work on that. We'll talk about it a little bit here. We know that
We'll
this
talk about it.
this was brought up from when that vehicle accident occurred a couple months back. Vehicle ended up into one of those buildings there, and it's a good opportunity to discuss whether what needs to be appropriate for signage or what other safety things we can put in place there. And I think that from our last meeting discussion was that stop signs at an intersection wouldn't necessarily make the difference in any safety situation, but reducing the speed coming in from the north, traveling south into State Center there would make a difference. And so that's what this is today, is to get that speed limit reduced.
And one of the things I have had some conversations with some of the people in the area would be, on the speed limit sign, maybe the flashing light to just alert them to the change. And then also, do we have, I can't remember, I'm really familiar with that area, but is there a sign marked there about that there's a curve coming up?
I don't know if there is going south.
Yeah.
And then I've also talked to Paul about possibly placing rumble strips there,
Oh,
just to
alert, yeah,
remind people that
yeah,
the speed limit is 35.
yeah.
DOT put a camera up last week on the,
Oh.
Do you have something you want to address?
At that intersection, they had several conversations about it. Paul, I was going to comment on this a little bit, but there is a directional warning sign. I believe it's a 90-degree sign, at 15-mile-an-hour warning sign. And I've had the same conversation with motorists and some citizens in the area, and I don't think it's a desire to really have a stop sign. I think more or less awareness.
Right.
I think this is the first step, the reducing that from 55, with that 1,000 feet setback through DOT regulations, to be able to at least bring another sign to slow down before you actually enter in that directional change. I haven't talked to the City Council of State Center, so I don't know what direction they're thinking about. I know there's been some conversation, some options that they may be looking into, but I don't have any knowledge of that.
So, Mark or Joel, do you have a thought on whether rumble strip or flashing light signage would be?
I think just north of there, Mark, there is a flashing light on between 200th Street and Eastman, where we've had several accidents over many, many years.
Is that the sharp curve?
The sharp
Yeah,
curves, yes. To me, I think it works. It catches my attention. With rumble strips, I would be a little nervous about, I know there is a holding facility for the livestock being butchered. I don't know if that would create any problems. We've had animals escape that facility before. I know that'd be an issue or not. But I think the lights would be maybe a secondary or even another option too for flashing lights. And I don't know if they're on all the time either, Mark, if they sense oncoming traffic or.
Most of them that we use flash all the time, solar powered,
Okay,
and they flash 24/7.
yeah,
And we've had pretty good luck with them.
yeah. They do catch your attention.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so, but we don't know if there's like a sign indicating a curve when you're heading south and as you're coming into State Center.
South there is.
There is.
There is. I'm
Okay.
not quite sure about north. And then once you enter into that intersection, there is a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit sign for residential area in the city of State
Right,
Center. City
right.
limits.
I mean, the only thing we can really address is the southbound
Correct.
traffic anyway, right?
Correct.
Anything else would be the city's responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know Paul has talked with the chief there too. I haven't been part of that conversation, so I'm not sure what all was discussed.
Okay. I guess I like the idea of reducing the speed limit with maybe with the flashing light as well. On whether it's the curb sign or the speed limit sign, something else that grabs their attention, yeah.
James, did we get any luck with our audio?
No, sir.
I just asked, Paul, do you want to just call my cell phone and I can put you on speaker if there's anything else you'd like to add?
He's calling.
Okay, Paul, I have you on speaker next to one of the microphones.
I can see you. Thank you.
I forget that.
Yeah, like I was saying, this is the same resolution that we did before, and it's the speed limit is the only thing that is that requires board action for us to put in place. So if we do the speed limit, we can add any more. We could add advance warning, flashing, or advance warning for the approaching curve as you come into the city limits from the north. That all can be done without board action. So this is the thing that has to be in front of you to get in place.
Okay. Okay.
That makes it
And
easier.
what are your thoughts on any additional steps to take, Paul?
I'd like to start with the speed limit, and we can add the a yellow, the advance. It's an advance warning for just an advance curve. It isn't, it's a messy intersection. There's no way around it.
Yeah,
The way around it is to reconstruct it, and that involves acquisition of some private property.
yeah. No, I think just awareness, anything we can do to increase awareness might be the steps that we take for southbound traffic.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you, James. That's helpful to
No audio, but good video.
see.
It's a lot better than looking at a 3-foot wide Paul's head behind you.
All right. Any other further discussion on this? Great, thank you. Is this Sheriff?
Thanks,
Mark?
Paul.
Paul?
Thank you, Paul.
I'm
Thank
hanging
you.
up on you.
Dan's fine.
All right.
Thank you all.
I'll make a motion that we adopt Resolution 2023-0041 to establish an appropriate speed limit sign erected at Eastman Avenue North 1,000 feet in Section 3, T-83N, R20, State Center Township. That would set the speed limit at 35 miles an hour.
All right, there's the motion, and I will second that. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Kyle,
Yes.
Solosik absent, Hibbs,
Yes.
All right, on to 13, public forum. It's time set aside for the public to make comments on topics of county business other than those listed on the agenda. No action will be taken on any of these topics brought up in public forum, but we appreciate hearing your comments. Harold, would you like to come up, please?
Harold Lanning. I live at 1994 Vine Avenue, Marshalltown. And my comments are in regard to the sirens that are going up around the county. And I have to tell you, I have some concerns about them. And my concern is the locations, okay? And I have the list here of where they're going to go, and they're all in the rural towns, which is fine. But my concern is what about other areas where there's a high concentration of homes? And I'm going to give you some examples, okay? As I said, I live on Vine Avenue, which is about 4 miles out, okay? And on Vine Avenue is 1.6 miles, and it runs from Main Street Road to Wallace. There are 39 homes on that road. From Wallace to Main Street Road, there's 41 homes and one church. On 170th Street, which is just north of the Green Mountain School that runs, there's 9 homes on that, which is just basically the backyard of Green Mountain. In Green Mountain, there are 44 homes, a school, a church, and a community center. On Main Street Road from Wallace to Vance, there are 7 homes. On Vance from Main Street Road to Twinkle Hill Road, there are 13 homes. Now, I didn't do a count on Twinkle Hill, but there's some additional homes on Twinkle Hill that runs over to Underwood. So, all told, that's 156 homes, 2 churches, a school, and a community center. And I know I don't argue with the sirens, it's a great idea. But that's a lot of homes, and how much coverage are you gonna get? Where's the closest one from the map or the locations?
Can I add
I don't
something, Harold? This is phase 1, and Kim is texting me too. There's gonna be a phase 2.
Okay.
That is hitting
Okay,
out more in the, not in the city incorporated
Well, that-
areas.
that was
for-
gonna be part of my question. Is there any plans for additional
Yes.
coverage?
There is.
And,
There is.
and what kind of coverage do these sirens cover? On a day like today, yeah, you can hear it quite a ways, but if it's thunder and lightning and storming, you're not gonna. So I guess what I'm asking is that this be taken into consideration on any further planning, because there may be other clusters. I mean, Wolf Lake out here comes into mind, of course, we're a little closer into town, but that's a lot of homes to not have any
Absolutely,
protection.
Absolutely. Kim is on another call, or she'd jump on and answer too, but maybe we can, if you give me your contact information, maybe we'll have Kim follow up with you.
Okay, okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Do we know a timeline for phase 2?
We don't have one. We got the current award, highest population first, so that is how it's awarded, but down the road, there was the plan to do more. If we'd have got a higher amount of money, initially, it was a larger project. Close to 800,000 is sticking in my head, but it's been a long time since we talked about that. And then the rules kind of changed, so we cut it into 2 phases.
Okay.
To get the money, so good.
I guess I was a little bit surprised until I actually drove it and counted that there were that many in basically a pretty small area. You know, from Wallace miles, and then from Wallace and Main Street to Green Mountain is, I don't know, 2-3 miles, whatever it is. And that's a lot of homes. So I would ask that to be consideration, not only our area, but maybe there's other areas that would.
Kim is saying thank you, and she, if you give me your contact info.
Okay,
we'll
I'll
give
get
you
with
too.
you
She's
after.
got a map and stuff too that you
Okay.
can look at, which
Okay,
I like pictures, so that's
Okay.
easier to figure
all right,
out.
okay. One other matter, if I could.
Yeah.
I didn't comment on the stop sign thing, but I was here a few weeks ago at the meeting. The signs are gonna do no good whatsoever, and I've repeated myself. I live, and there's a sign in my ditch, 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. Just as well not be there. It's not abided by, and so forth. I also commented on the stop signs over on Main Street Road and Zeller. What really disappoints me is I was over there one day and I saw a deputy pickup go through, right on through, and he wasn't on a call. There's nothing gonna stop this unless you start putting cameras and have some patrolmen out there. Thank you.
Rhonda Broadus, 911 Director, just to add some information. Kim has been putting a lot of extensive work in this, and I think one thing that the population doesn't really is aware of is when it comes to these grants, there are certain requirements that go along with that. So definitely reach out to Kim, but if anyone else is curious about that, she is a great resource. She's put a lot of work into this, and there are certain requirements in order to get to those other areas. In reference to your second comment, as the 911 director, I can tell you that even if there is not a call, that doesn't mean that the deputies aren't on their way to a location. So if you ever have a question about that, if you want to give me a call, I can go ahead and let you know. But the deputies, I will promise you, they don't just violate any kind of laws, rules, or regulations. They are on their way to something, okay? Thank you.
George, do you have something today?
I was here last time. I've got some more maps for you. Dan Holland was out to my place and looked at the tile that they tore up out of my ditch. And this is a whole, these tile were put in 2010. And that was no outlet. There's no place for an outlet to dump the tile except on top of the ground ahead of me. And nobody wants to work with me. And I went and talked to Tom Cahill in Nevada, the lawyer that's been doing my local legal work for some 45 years. And I told him about my problem, and he said, you just go home and work with your neighbors. So I tried, and nobody will work with me. So what are we going to do now? This tile needs to be fixed, and right now it's all running, but if we had a rain, I'm sure we'd have a big problem. And we get down to the bridge, there's no place for the water to go, except down through Carol Burke's land. And Lyle Everett plugged the tile the next day after the hearing. And the Board of Supervisors never done a thing about it. The sheriff didn't know nobody about it. And Carol Burke is still alive, but Lyle Everett died over it. And I think it's pretty serious. And Corey Everett is south of me, and he's got it in for me so bad, he put a big chunk of concrete up my field and wrecked my combine. And I don't think that's proper. And I think something ought to be done about it. And I've got Joe Phillips and Rich Phillips treating us like shit, and I don't like it.
All right, well, and so the solution you had brought to us was to put a, what size culvert where you're?
Put a tile, mine's an 18-inch tile. Dana Holland laid out my plan, and I put a tile in from the bridge up to the culvert, and put it out place so they hook into my tile. And I had a very high-priced 24-inch intake I put in there, and they have destroyed it. And the neighbor lady north of me owns the land, the Dobbin land, and her brother come out and talked to me that day, and I don't want to ever repeat what he said to me. I'd be ashamed to say such a thing. And they've treated me like shit ever since. And they put a tile up through Remmersnyder's land, tiled that all out, and it's right in the picture there where the trees were all at. And they put it all up in there, Joyce Thomas's land. And this needs to be settled. And Steve is not here today. I was hoping he'd be here and answer why he wouldn't do anything about it. Because he was the chairman of the board when we had that hearing. And we're going to go to court in October. And I want all the minutes of that meeting. I don't want the stuff that Nan put out. I turn that into you too, but it's a disgrace what she wrote to me, and I don't approve of it.
All right, thank you for your comments, George. Any other comments for public forum today?
Kim had asked that we
Yes.
state that since they invited the Siren Project bidders to the meeting, we need to have a comment at the end stating that it will be on the next agenda due to the project still being active in committee.
Yes, we have a meeting on August 8th that the committee is working, we're going to be working through the bidding process, and it will be on that meeting on the 16th.
16th. All right, any other further comments today?
One more thing I didn't tell you about. Cat Thomas bored on the road, tore an intake out my ditch. He didn't have permission to.
All right, thank you. On to adjournment. The next regular session is Wednesday, August 16th, 2023, 9 a.m. in here, the courthouse, first floor meeting room, 1 East Main Street. All business to be acted upon at that session should be submitted to the County Auditor Recorder's Office or the Board of Supervisors Office by Wednesday, August 9th at noon. There being no further business to come before the board, the meeting is adjourned at 9:35 a.m. Thank you for coming today.